Hi everyone, I'm Ellie and I run the Yad Nashman Jewish Family Institute here at Aish Toronto, and I wanted to send a little idea on the Parsha for this week. So the Parsha this week is Tavo. It is a part of the book of Dvarim and is one of the most, I would say, intense Parshas that's in there, because we're really getting Moshe's almost last words to the people before he passes away and before they go into Israel. So in many ways, it's kind of like a parent saying to their kid who's going off to college, here are all the things I need you to know before you go. And they're about to get in the car. And the parent's trying to make sure that they know what they need to be able to succeed. So the Parsha opens up with the understanding of giving tithes and having gratitude. And then kind of midway through the Parsha, we get Moshe telling them that God has chosen us and that we also have to choose God. So we get gratitude first, and then we get this idea of choosing. And a lot of the time we talk about ourselves as the chosen people. But one of the things that I like to think about is not only are we the chosen people, but what is God modeling for us? God's modeling for us that God also chooses. And if we're made in the image of God, which it says to us in our text that we are B'Tselem Elokim, and how do we act like we're made in the images of God is that we act like God. So it means that we ourselves are supposed to be choosing people. We're supposed to be making choices. And so we're encouraged here by Moshe to remember that. Don't live your life in default. And if you ever run into a situation where you feel like you have no choices, then there's something that you might be missing. There's some emotional component to that, or you're just not getting creative enough yet. So can you shift yourself into a creative state of mind and remember that you're B'Tselem Elokim and that there are always choices. And if you need help remembering what there is to choose, sometimes you need an outside wise elder or someone to help you remember or think of or come up with a choice. The Parsha goes on to talk about what happens in the good times and what happens in the bad times, and reminding people that if they do what they're supposed to do, then things will be good. And if they don't, or even when times are good, if they forget Hashem, that things won't go so well. But I also think one of the things that this is talking to us about is, are we looking at the world through a lens of God? So even in the good times and even in the bad times, are we remembering our framework? And if we're not, are we really remembering what this whole project is about in the first place as the Jewish people? At the very end of the Parsha, Moshe then goes on to say that today, after 40 years, we finally have a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear. And I think if we look back at those three things that we saw in the Parsha right before that, we'll understand a little bit more about that. A heart to know would be gratitude. Someone who's grateful is in the right state of mind and the right state of heart to remember to give thanks and to acknowledge where everything in your life comes from. Eyes to see is, do you have choice? Are you remembering that no matter what the situation looks like, are you still choosing? And the last one, ears to hear. Our mission statement is Shema. In those times when it's good and in the times when it's bad, can we still hear the voice of Hashem in whatever it is that's happening? And so with a heart to know, gratitude, eyes to see, choice, and ears to hear, remembering that Hashem is in everything, this is what we needed to know to prepare us to go into the next steps. So as our kids go off to school, as our older kids maybe go to university, as some of us go back into work, maybe what we can do is try to remember and find our heart to know, our eyes to see, and our ears to hear in order to prepare us to really have what we need in order to succeed. Thank you so much, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.